Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us in today's webinar. We're proud at Cenosco to have released our final release of 2023, IMS 2023 R3. Today, I'm going to walk through the release highlights of this final release of the year. My name is Tina Amrutha. I'm product manager here at Cenosco. I'm joined with my colleague Sang Sagar, product marketing manager at Cenosco. This R3 release brings to you a lot of impactful and valuable functionality that standardizes the most important features across the entire platform. We've introduced standardized schedules and condition histories across the entire platform, most notably to our RCM and SIS users, who are now brought to the same level of functionality as our PEI users. Now, across all of IMS, all of our disciplines, all of the engineers using IMS across all of the disciplines will have access to the same powerful capabilities of scheduling and recording condition histories that PEI users had traditionally been able to use. And this brings a single powerful view of all maintenance and inspection tasks, no matter what discipline you're interested in looking up in IMS. We also bring to you a more modernized CMMS connector. We've made improvements to the CMMS connector to allow you to connect to S/4HANA, SAP's latest creation. We'll give you more details on our updated APIs and standardized schedules and ECH capability later on. And finally, as always, you have continued access to our dedicated technical support and engagement features through IMS. We also bring you a few more opportunities to engage through IMS, and we'll give you more details on that later on as well. As I've said, the biggest, most valuable impact that you'll see in this R3 release of 2023 is this standardized schedules and also condition histories across all of the disciplines. This is a platform-wide improvement. Another big improvement that we've made across the entire IMS platform, no matter which product you are active in, are improvements to our action item capability. We've made it much more dynamic with many more micro features. And as I've mentioned, we've introduced compatibility to SAP S/4HANA in our CMMS connector. In addition, we've created living API documentation directly within IMS that you can access and use as living documentation within IMS. And yet another improvement across the entire IMS platform is a suite of improvements to our dynamic forms, as we've been making incremental improvements there to further bridge and connect your planning and execution tasks in IMS. And finally, we've made improvements to our newest product, IMS SIS. The next version of SIF Pro is now bringing to you a standardized SRS report to comply with IEC standards. And in improvement to our HAZOP risk matrix, we've added the ability to include a risk ranking after safeguards so that you're able to more targeted and have a more targeted risk analysis in your HAZOP studies. So let's dive in. This really important improvement that we made across the IMS platform is really impacting all of the disciplines, but most notably visible in RCM and SIS. Schedules are now accessible across all of the disciplines. You are now able to take advantage of all of the features that are now available or have previously been available in PEI, but across PEI, SIS, FCM, etc. This empowers transparency and collaboration across all teams. What does this standardization really mean? It really means that now schedules and condition histories can be searched across all disciplines by simply manipulating your filters. By default, if you're accessing IMS through PEI, you'll by default see those schedules and condition histories that are relevant to the pressure equipment discipline. But let's say you access IMS through PLSS, then by default, you will only see those schedules and condition histories that are relevant to the pipeline and subsea discipline. But you have the freedom to open up those filters and, for example, research what fabric maintenance has planned or what your instrumentation team has registered in their condition histories, if you have those relevant products available to you in your environment. We see this standardization as improving collaboration and really opening up and making planning much more effective across all teams, and making IMS not only an important planning tool, but bringing that planning closer to execution and making that journey much more simple to you. RCM sees the most amount of change as a result of this standardization of schedules and condition histories. There are many new sections and capabilities introduced to you as an RCM user in the schedules. Now you have an event history available to you. You have a new management of change field to record relevant management of change reference numbers there and statuses there. You have a manage threats and opportunities functionality. Very importantly, you now have the ability to create a schedule from new directly from the IMS interface. So now that you've planned an entire maintenance plan through all of your careful RCM analyses, you're now able to create those schedules directly in IMS and have that sent over to your maintenance team. There's now a visual recurrence history in a schedule. For those recurring schedules, you'll be able to see a timeline of when those tasks had been executed in the past. And many more filters are available as well in RCM. A really important functionality that we've also introduced as a result of this standardization is it's now possible to add those recommended tasks directly to your schedules. So you're able to take those recommended tasks from your RCM analyses, and with a simple click of this plus button, you can connect that into a schedule and have it all set up to be sent over and planned by your maintenance team. IMS SIS, the latest version of SIF Pro, is also enriched by the standardization of the schedules and condition histories. The SIS schedules and condition histories have been aligned with this PEI layout, as have RCM schedules and condition histories. The various disciplines are also now available to view from special filters that you can tailor to yourself when you log into IMS. We also have rolled out that new recurrence history section in IMS SIS. So for recurring proof tests or loop tests, those recurring tests can appear on a visual timeline so that you are very clear on what has happened in the past. There have been some minor renaming of sections in the in the SIS schedules to match the RCM and PEI and FCM schedules. So what was previously called the related assessment section and what was previously called the test scope section are now renamed to tasks and scope. And finally, roles and permissions have been updated across all of the products, but specifically in SIS, the SIS admin role has been updated. to be able to manage schedules and condition histories in SIS. Now I'll hand it over to Sang to talk about our improved action items in R3.
Thank you, Tina. In addition to the improvements that we made to schedules and condition history, we have also revamped the action items. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this feature within IMS, and the improvements that we have made to action items particularly would be really welcomed by all of our users. Specifically, you can now assign an item to a person, and then you can also review. And likewise, once it has been assigned, an email is sent out to the assigned user, and they get to what the task is. And you can also define different status and category of the task, for instance, to do, and so on. And there is a nice portion where you could add extra comments, and you could add your documentation, and so on. The biggest improvement, particularly with this revamp with action items, is the fact that you can now capture any kind of action within IMS related to an equipment schedule condition history. And these kind of activities need not be scheduled. For instance, you would like to have a drawing updated, and you do not have to create a schedule anymore, because the schedule will then trigger a work order. But in this case, you could just create an action item. This action item actually can allow you to capture different kinds of activity within IMS, and this makes it really a flexible way for you moving forward to capture a lot of these follow-up actions that are required. And that can be done by different users within IMS. And this really allows you and your users and your teams to collaborate better, and also have notifications sent out so that you can track the different tasks that are happening. The user-friendly interface is really one of the big improvement that you see with action items here. And you can learn more about this particular feature also in the handbook. And the next big improvement with regards to the CMMS, as Tina had mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, is also with regards to the S4 support. The CMMS connector has now new APIs to help support modernizing APIs for SAP. As we see a lot of our customers in the market also actively transitioning from legacy SAP to S4HANA, and a lot of our customers are already moved to S4HANA, and this one from now also supports through connectors to IMS. Some of the modifications that we have made in IMS to support this transition with regards to creating a special schedule category that appears only in S4. Messages can be added for reapprovals of schedules. Likewise, flock level data can be imported to and back from S4, etc. All of these details, you can find them through the UTrack link that you could look up within the handbook. And likewise, we will share this deck after the meeting as well, so you can learn more about this in the handbook as well. In a bid to support you with the S4 connectors and to also provide more transparency to our users, the application program interface documentation is now available for our users to look up also on the CMMS connector, which is deployed through the latest version. You can simply navigate to the latest instance of IMS, and you can just type /developers, and you'll see the screenshot of the APIs that are available there. And there's really a dynamic interface where you can click through and further drill into the technical documentation, and then you can further test out responses directly through the user interface. And this allows you as a user to use it as a self-service resource to onboard and to also customize and stay updated with the latest features. Moving to the other dynamic form improvements that we have, we are retiring the legacy inspection codes that you were used to having in PEI in the past. And all of these have now been moved to dynamic forms, which is a popular feature within IMS. And you now have a lot of legacy codes which are replaced through new dynamic forms checklists. The only module as of today is PLSs, which still has a lot of these inspection codes, and this will also be moved to in the upcoming release, and that's already on the roadmap to move to dynamic forms by the end of next year. Some other improvements that you see also with regards to user enhancements for our users. And I'm sure that a lot of you have reached out to our support in the past to create new users. And from now on, it's going to be a much more simpler task for you to create that within IMS. And once it's triggered, IMS now sends out a welcome email to all the newly created users with all the information that they need to log in, to learn about IMS and to access the website and so on. And also in a bid to capture more user satisfaction surveys, we also have implemented that within IMS and to show up to twice a year to capture satisfaction levels within the app. Users are now welcome to share their satisfaction levels and comment about IMS within this particular window. And of course, you can also dismiss or cancel the survey if you would not like to do at a certain moment and do it later. This allows us to capture more direct response from the customers and with regards to their improvements and other features they would like to see in IMS. Over to you, Tina.
Sure, thanks, Singh. Well, going back into some really important functionality for IMS SIS, we have delivered two big features there. Again, IMS SIS is the next version of SIF Pro, our safety SIF design and specification tool. IMS SIS is the new version of this, and in that version, we've introduced the SRS report. We've simplified and created a report that can be automatically filled by data that you've already filled into IMS and create a final report that you can deliver to your cross-functional teams as you're building out your SIFs in the plant. This SRS report complies to IEC standards, specifically IEC standard 61511, clause 10. And we make it very simple to access this report and generate it in our reports module directly within IMS and easy to find in a single click in the reports section. The other major feature that we rolled out in IMS SIS is an improvement to our HAZOP capability. Now, our HAZOP capability is already quite flexible, but we now allow you an additional opportunity to record a risk ranking of your hazardous scenarios after safeguards are in place. And this is an important functionality to many of our customers who require it for local regulation reasons, but also gives a realistic view of your risk assessment after safeguards are in place. It is possible to switch back and forth between our standard HAZOP template that allows this risk ranking before safeguards and our new HAZOP template that allows the risk ranking after safeguards through a simple switch in application settings in IMS. So that rounds out our major feature highlights of the R3 release, our final release of the year. But we're still looking towards 2024 on a positive note. We are continuing a lot of the initiatives that we started in 2023 to improve all of the back-end technical items that keep IMS powered and running. So you'll see a lot of minor improvements across our products, which actually altogether sum into a really large impact to you, keeping IMS modernized in the back end. What you'll see across the platform more visibly are more improvements to our dynamic forms as we continue to invest more in that feature and make sure that all of the careful planning and optimization that you're already doing in IMS can be translated to the field and to your execution teams through dynamic forms. We're also going to modernize the user interface with a new navigation look and feel. We're coming out with a new menu that will allow you to find features more easily and navigate in a much more different way that will hopefully simplify your experience when using IMS. We will be rounding out our initiative in PEI to roll out a standard from the American Petroleum Institute, RBI 581. And finally, in IMS SIS, we are really hardening that product with a focus on quality. As we've onboarded our first few customers into production this year, we're preparing to scale up even further in 2024 with an eye on quality. So please be on the lookout early next year in our first couple of releases for improved quality and technical backend capabilities, but also with a new capability of matching our RBI 581 standards from the American Petroleum Institute and PEI, and also those dynamic form features and the new navigation in IMS. I'm going to hand it over to Sang to go into a bit more detail on some new beta features that some of our newest users are currently testing out in IMS and things to look out for as well in the near future.
Thank you, Tina. As a part of the larger tech stack modernization initiative, the team is also migrating dynamic forms to a faster engine. And what does this really mean to the users, you ask? The improvement is expected to come in the next release or in the upcoming minor release. So it's not just going to be about a new look of dynamic forms that you see out here on the screen, but it's also about the performance of the dynamic forms. The new forms are expected to be between 30 to 90% faster than they currently are. And you also have several different micro features within dynamic forms that we have improved. And you can learn about these also on the handbook. The other one with regards to the checklist with PLSS, as I mentioned earlier, is that we have done that recently for PEI, and the same is going to be followed with PLSS as well. We will be retiring the legacy condition history codes, and new PLSS checklists will be created in dynamic forms, and these are already available on the acceptance environment for testing and feedback before we roll that into production in the next release. So that kind of sums up what we had here, I guess.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Sang. Yeah, I think that was a really how we have wanted to roll out new features to you is to really get our super users to test them out in beta. We're currently seeing some feedback already, and once we get those features finalized, then everyone will get to benefit. And this is the last release of our year, and we really wish you happy holidays from all of us at Cenosco to all of you out there. I see that we have a question, and any other questions coming our way, please do send them through this chat. If you aren't able to get your question out today, please do contact your account manager or our support team, and we'll get your questions answered that way as well. But we're happy to take questions now. Let's see. So we have a question here from Terry Reynolds. He asks, will the IMS handbook now have a single sign-on for IMS users, or will it still require a separate sign-on? That's a very good question. I know the IMS handbook is still quite new to a lot of our users, and it's something that we want more and more of you to continue using on a regular basis. So we do have single sign-on available to all of our customers, all of our users, if you have already requested that from Cenosco. It is possible to get the accounts set up for you. directly by our Cenosco team. But I think the single sign-on capability is something that will have to be discussed separately. But it is a feature that's available. It's just not possible to sign on. If you sign on to IMS right now, it's not possible out of the box to already have signed into the IMS handbook. But I'll have to double check on that for you. I think it really depends on which company you are with and if we've had that capability set up for you. So please do reach out to your account manager if you are having issues signing in. But at the very basis, you should have your accounts already ready there without any hiccups. All right, we have a couple more questions. And will a recording of this presentation be available? And simple answer is yes. You will automatically receive the recording of this session as well as the slides after this. And within these slides, we have hyperlinks directly to the IMS handbook for you to research more deeply all of those new features that we've released in R3. We have another question from Donald Fogarty. Now that Cenosco owns the shell upgrades, will other companies get the same upgrades and capabilities? This is a really great question as well. Many of you or all of you may have seen that we've made the announcement that we now own the Shell IMS platform. What has always been a joint collaboration between Cenosco and Shell now completely is owned 100% by Cenosco. Now we own IMS completely. Anything that we include in every new release, every upgrade, can be rolled out in the same manner through the same operations to any customer, Shell or non-Shell. So all of these features that we've just talked about here are available to you, any other customer, as an upgrade as well. And it is just a matter of connecting with your account manager to ensure that you get those upgrades when you want them. And we have a question from Pam Fraser. Has Cenosco made progress on the CMMS connection with Maximo? So Maximo integration is one of those sought after integrations. We do have experience creating those custom CMMS connectors to Maximo, to any MMS, some other MMSs out there, not only SAP. And Maximo, this is a connector that really is something that is done on a customer by customer basis. So we don't have a out of the box Maximo connector, for example. What we do have are APIs that can be linked into Maximo. So I think connecting into Maximo is a discussion that needs to happen directly between your business and our project management team to really outline which connections need to be made to the APIs that we already have available in IMS. So IMS already has the capability to connect. What it connects to, it really is, just depends on the customization that we offer in, through our project management and implementation teams. So I hope that answers that question, but it is an important one. And interfacing is really what really helps us connect that planning to the execution, and we want to always improve there. Where we are making continual improvements is really strengthening those APIs that allow us to make those custom connections to whichever MMS system that you do use at your business. All right, well, we're nearing the end of the hour. We'll close the Q&A session for now. If there are any more questions that come out after reviewing the materials of this release, or if you think of something later on, now or in the future, please do contact your account manager or our support team, and we will follow up right away. Thanks again for your time. We're always happy to engage with you, and we're looking forward to the next session next year. Happy holidays, and see you in the new year.